Hello, my name is Matthew Reeves. I'm Director of Archaeology and Landscape Restoration here at James Madison's Montpelier. At Montpelier, we run the 1-week programs for metal detectorists to come out and do surveys and work side by side with the archaeology team. We've been doing these programs since 2012, and we've had about 120 metal detectorists that have come out over these past 5 years. And we've done surveys on everything from 18th century slave quarters to tobacco barns to stables to more recently a Civil War picket post. And with the programs, what we really have these focus on is having the metal detectorists that come on the programs work side by side with our archaeology team and really get into how we can use the talents of metal detectorists, whether knowledge of the specialist machines to finding in some cases, targets that are quite difficult to find in the ground. We've got the soils out here are iron rich, we're looking for nails, so a lot of times it's a challenge for finding these sites, and having experienced metal detectorists come in the program is really key to the success of what we do. So with the programs, like I said, they're designed to be collaborative, where the participants are learning about archaeology, but then at the same time, we're using the participants' expertise to not only figure out, to help with the surveys and find the metal artifacts and map those in, but also learn from them what different ways we can do these kind of surveys. Now, the surveys that we do, we've got over 2,700 acres here at Montpelier, and so we've got a lot of land to cover. From the open fields, like you can see out here in front of the main house, to woods. About 1,800 acres of the land we got here is woods. And what we're trying to do is survey all of this area on about a 60-foot interval to locate every single site that's on the land. Everything from barns from the 18th century to slave quarters to Civil War hut sites. And with the density of sites that we've got on the landscape, we have hundreds of sites we've found, and even more of those sites to find. We've done about 20% of the property using the 20-meter or the 60-foot survey. So we probably have like another 20 years of survey to do. We got a lot of land to cover, and that's where you come in, is having metal detectorists come out and work with us on these programs. You're finding sites that haven't been touched since the 18th century. And what's great about the sites here at Montpelier is two things. One is this land hasn't been really touched in all of the 20th century, so a lot of the sites aren't plowed. And the areas we're looking at are areas that we want to interpret to the public and actually take the information from the metal detector survey to figure out where to put excavation units so we can excavate the sites and then rebuild them. So let's go out and see an example of a site that we surveyed in 2012, and we've actually rebuilt the slave quarters based on what we found with the metal detector survey. Where we're standing right now is the quarter for field slaves, and what we refer to as the Madison Farm Complex here at Montpelier. This is the site where all the Madison's farm buildings, the slave quarters, would have lived and worked. And how we located this site is through metal detector survey. The two buildings that are behind me, these are two log structures we've reconstructed based on the archaeology we did here, which showed where these buildings actually sat. And how we located these two buildings is in 2012, one of the first week-long metal detector surveys that we did with Mine Lab was at this site, where we laid this area off in a 10-foot grid and did the metal detector survey. And what we found was two large concentrations of nails and household objects that indicated there was something of interest here. And then the next summer we came back, opened up units, found the actual remains of the slave quarters, did the analysis, and then actually reconstructed these about a year and 2 years ago, two different programs. So what I love about this site is this is the complete cycle of the LEARN program, which is we located this site through metal detector surveys that we do, where folks like you come in and do the surveys with us to locate these Madison era historic sites. We did about 6 excavation programs where folks come out and actually get in a 5x5 unit and do excavations. And during the metal detector programs, we have metal detectorists spend about a day in the units excavating. We did the analysis through a ceramics program, and then finally we ran 2 log cabin programs where volunteers came out for a week and actually learned how to use hand tools like they did in the 18th century to reconstruct these buildings. So So I hope you all can make it out to Montpelier and see how metal detecting is involved in the process of discovering the 18th century and early 19th century landscape here at Montpelier. Thank you.